Do you think death is the worst thing that can happen to you? They promised protection, but built prisons instead.
Human beings were originally built to spend 85% of our time outside. The average human spends less than 2% of their lifetime outdoors now. So now what's happened when we've come indoors? We've stopped contacting the surface of the earth. Do you know that the earth is a giant magnetic field? Think about the last time that you had bare feet touching bare soil, dirt, grass, or sand. That's the last
non-human realm was feeding off low vibrational energy. There's a scene in the first Matrix movie where Morpheus holds up a battery and says, the Matrix is a computer-generated dream world designed to turn humans into one of these, a battery.
Welcome back to Beyond the Curve. Let's dive into some human harvesting, human batteries, and how evil technology is becoming. Please hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's do it.
Reality. Larry Ellison, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman. These aren't visionaries. They're oligarchs and architects. Architects of a new world, where freedom is a relic and privacy is a myth. A world where every thought, every action, every dream is data to be harvested and sold. This isn't the future. It's happening now.
No lie, all this technology could be used for good, but most definitely it's being used for evil.
The greatest superhero you'll ever know is you, with your brain fully online. Knew it, the yogis practiced it, the monks lived it, and now science is catching up. Inside your skull is the most powerful quantum processor in the known universe. But it only works at full power when both hemispheres of your brain are in sync. Hemisync, or hemispheric synchronization, is a state where your left and right brain operate in harmonic coherence. Logic and intuition, analysis and creativity, past and future, all becoming now. This is where superhuman abilities begin to emerge. Remote viewing, telepathy, quantum memory, lucid dreaming, healing through thought, access to the Akashic field, manifestation at the speed of belief. The ancients didn't call it hemisync, but they taught the same principles. Breathwork to balance energy channels, chanting and drumming to entrain theta and gamma waves, meditation on sacred geometry to align internal and external fields, and movement practices like Qigong to restore flow across the microcosmic orbit, all to activate the full electromagnetic light body, the true you, hidden beneath societal programming and sensory overload.
People are more powerful than they think, more powerful than they want you to know. Hence, harvesting your power for most of the things in this earth.
The Matrix is a computer-generated dream built to keep us under control in order to change a human being to this.
No. It's impossible.
The Matrix is a computer-generated dream built to keep us under control in order to change a human being to this.
Non-human realm was feeding off low vibrational energy. There's a scene in the first Matrix movie where Morpheus holds up a battery and says, the Matrix is a computer-generated dream world designed to turn humans into one of these, a battery. That is a profound statement in an apparently fictional movie.
Well, we saw the kids version in Monsters Inc. as well.
But that was another one. You had the monster world, where the key monster was a green entity with one single massive eye. I mean, that's telling you, isn't it? What happened is that in the monster world, they had no source of energy. And so in the power station, every day, the monster's employees would turn up and they stand in line. And then these doors would come, and when they walked through the door, they walked into a child's bedroom. And their job was to terrify the child so the child screamed. They caught the scream, in a tube and went back to the monster world to power the monster world. It was very symbolic of how this works. They are telling you without telling you.
Yeah.
This non-human realm
Human
was feeding
beings
on them.
were originally built to spend 85% of our time outside. The average human spends less than 2% of their lifetime outdoors now. So now what's happened when we've come indoors? We've stopped contacting the surface of the earth. Do you know that the earth is a giant magnetic field? Think about the last time that you had bare feet touching bare soil, dirt, grass, or sand. That's the last time that you discharged into the earth. And this is very real. By the way, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I took a voltage meter. I plugged it into the dirt, in the sand, into the ground. And I held the other pole of this voltage meter, and I showed you how there was zero voltage going through my body. I was standing in tennis shoes. And I took my shoes off and I stepped on the surface of the earth, and the pin pegged all the way to the right-hand side. So what happens when we touch the surface of the earth? It's called earthing, it's called grounding. You see, we don't want it to be this easy, but it is. Right? When we touch the surface of the earth, we discharge into the earth. It actually changes the polarity of the body. It can shift the alkalinity in the blood. It can change the polarity of 32 trillion cells in the human
Proved
body.
at the turn of the century that the human body is almost 80%, 90% water, and it's also got electrolytes in it, which we know to be salt, potassium, different minerals. That means we're a salt battery. No different than the car battery, different than something like that. And there's a patent actually called the Cali patent, which I'll hold up here for the big camera to see. And this patent actually was developed in 1897, and not much has been done with it because at that time everyone was afraid of electricity. In this case, Dr. Clark developed a product using a 9-volt battery. And I'll just show you in the back here. There it is, 9-volt battery. And this particular unit, you just snap on your wrist with 2 wristbands. Oh, yeah, with it. You snap it on your wrist just to prove that I'm a circuit. I push the little green light, and the thing is on. And if I put my hands together, you can hear that I'm a circuit. I'm a closed circuit at this point. Now with that, we get a sound when you put your hands together. Because I closed the circuit, now when I take my hands apart, obviously the electricity is now being able to flow through the body. The electricity can't go through the digestive tract. So in the digestive tract, to kill the microorganisms, the specific parasites, she's found the effectiveness of the black walnut, with the native Indians used for cleansing many years ago. The black walnut, in its green hull form, kills many of the microorganisms. And in conjunction with another product called wormwood and cloves, typical cloves that you would get at the store, these 3 in combination have the ability to go in and kill all the pathogens.
This is like one of the best descriptions of being autistic I've ever seen. Like, yeah, autistic people, the cup and spoon theory things are pretty dope, but have you heard of battery theory? Look, this is us. We're born, we're just junk drawer battery. Meanwhile, neurotypical batteries come packaged and charged all the way and not used by 10 other people. And neurotypical people are the rechargeable kinds that you can just put on like a power brick and they charge like they used to, or plug them in or something. Alright, my used battery ass is gonna finish making breakfast now.
Death is the worst thing that can happen to you. You thought they told you the truth. Their factories burn day and night to erase the evidence. They promised protection, but built prisons instead. You believed only humans were safe. They lied to you. Every memory, every thought, harvested like crops. Your soul trapped in a digital prison forever. When the mind is taken, the shell remains discarded and burnt. Humans and awakened eyes, no one is free until we fight back.
You don't need caffeine, you need charging. You are an electromagnetic battery, and you have no energy because you're not charging your field. This is the force that gives you energy and life. This will give you electromagnetic energy because it's charged by the electromagnetic sun. and grows out the electromagnetic earth. Coffee doesn't give you energy. The energy levels you get off coffee is the side effect of the toxic reaction it has with your body. It's a short-term effect that gives you fake energy. Real energy comes from grounding, the sunlight, and eating electromagnetic food. Coffee is toxic for your nervous system. They'll teach you about minerals and vitamins, but never tell you the most basic thing about the human body is that it runs off electricity. It's a technological machine.
What is it that increases the electrons in our body and what decreases them? Watch this.
So it is with the battery packs in the human body. On one side, it's how many electrons are we putting in? And there are a lot of electron donors. Electron donors can be getting out in the sun, can be walking barefoot in the grass. It can be leaning up your body up against a tree because the tree has electrons and will donate them to you. Hugging an animal, a common way that makes people in nursing homes feel better is to buy them a dog or a cat. They hold the dog or the cat and get electrons from it. The animal runs outside and recharges itself and brings some back to you. Moving water is an electron donor, whereas still water tends to be an electron stealer. Moving air is an electron stealer. So that's why when you ride in a convertible, you look really cool, but you're always tired when you get there because the wind steals electrons from you. So on one hand, we look at what things can put electrons in the body and then what things steal them. And again, the most common stealers are dental infections, emotional baggage, various toxins, particularly the toxins that we are getting from things like GMO foods and pesticides and other kinds of things, air pollution. There's a lot of toxins around us. And of course, one can almost include in the concept emotional baggage. They're toxins in a different way in that they rob us of voltage that we should be using for something else.
If you love self-improvement, self-mastery, all that kind of good stuff, write the word origin.
Ask yourself, why did the ether disappear from the periodic table? Ether has been hidden, and you've been given gravity so you don't know there's an infinite sea of free energy waiting for you to tap into. Ether is the primordial god of light and the bright upper sky in Greek mythology. He represents the pure, bright air that the gods breathe and is associated with the celestial realm. Why did the original electric vehicles get discontinued and hidden from history? Because it was powered by free energy from the atmosphere. Devices capable of taming etheric atmospheric energy were using metals and precious elements such as copper, gold, magnets, and red mercury, to name a few. Ether was removed from the books in 1908.
No wires on those poles, people. You see that?
They want to use you as Wi-Fi. Well, actually, Li-Fi. They want to use your energy and light to actually send information through to create a new Wi-Fi system called Li-Fi. 6G antenna plus the human body for energy, and even other things like copper bracelets and such to really, really use you for antennas. Now, this is no tinfoil hat. I'm going to give you an anti-tweak receipt at the end here in just a few seconds, but it really makes me think what's going on in the world, what's possible. Awareness really is key. You think ever since they put that Nintendo controller in my hand, that some sort of off-world iRobot agenda entity kind of had that in mind. You know, the iPhone invention story, if you've never heard, is really interesting. Basically, Steve Jobs went into the wilderness, into a cave with a guru in India, went to some sort of occult initiation ritual, talked to some spirits, and came back with some crazy technology that he said was meant to be spread all over the world. Aside from just the natural etheric electrical universe we live in and just what's naturally scientifically possible. It's really important to be grounded and know what's going on and who you are as a person. That's where the hope comes from. But if you want your anti-tweak receipt, here you go.
technology that a whole lot of is a form of sorcery. At its roots and foundations, the means of communing with other realms, other entities through the air is a divine right that was practiced through ritual magic, incantation, prayer, meditation, through all these other means, up until the time came when these demons specifically began to teach mankind how to make devices to talk to them. The first images ever used on like a television screen that you and I think of today were the Knights Templar's cross. They were literally channeling these spirits to give them technology to help them have access to their realm. But it was a two-way street, and they were being manipulated because there's obviously levers to pull on somebody to make them give them what you want. They wanted a form of technology. Most of the time it's military or it's for financial gain. And that exchange is what has progressively been building this technology that we have. This is the interface communications platform that these entities now use to get their voice in. And it started right away from the beginning. You can backplay music and hear speech. Even when people are normal, singing gospel Christian stuff, you will still hear other speech coming in backwards. And it's not always demonic sounding, it's not always evil, but when you start playing some of this music backwards, you'll find this artifacts of this phenomenon going on all over the place. This technology, like there was a technology company that I was doing security for, and they were getting their data storage devices, petabytes of data storage, huge. That's the beast currency for them. It's going to be data storage. That they got the design plans from lucid dreaming and from talking to aliens, entities that came and visited them, that showed them and it helped them crack problems they were having.
Energy, the seed corn of all development, all growth, all survival, energy. So energy, transportation, information, and manufacturing, these are the things that change humanity, that will change world power, and they are descending upon us in ways that are very unique. The technology is on the engineering benches today, but most Americans and most in Congress have not had time to really look deeply at what's going on here. But I've had the benefit of 33 years of studying and becoming friends with these engineers and these scientists. This technology can be built today with technology that is not developmental to deliver any human being from any place on planet Earth to any other place in less than an hour. To deliver Wi-Fi from space where you never need a cell tower to connect. To deliver energy from space where you never have to plug your phone in and it trickle charges and you can use that energy over time. It can be applied to cars, to houses. The technology of Edison and Tesla that we live with in our energy environment, our paradigm today, is expensive, it's dangerous, and it's wasteful. Plug it into the wall, but yet that's what we all do because we are used to paradigms. The power of space will change world power forever. And it doesn't have to be a big country to do it. It can be a small island country, let's say New Zealand. Because the technology, if optimized, can change world power, and there's nothing you can do if you don't have that power. The nature of power. You either have it and your values rule, or you do not have it and you must submit. We see that.
Is he talking about power from the ether?
Inventors of, I don't know, for how many centuries. And that guy's name is Nikola Tesla. He says, if you want to find out the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That's exactly what I've been sharing with you here. Everything is sound and magneticism, and this is really important. So what most people don't know is, remember, sound, God said, let there be light. So it's sound, moving sound. Sound manifests as toroidal fields. Those moving toroidal fields create magnetic fields, which are toroidal fields as well. And moving magnetic fields create electricity. That's the sequence of events. But this tells us that because sound creates magnetic fields, it means everything must have a must be magnetic in some sort. And in some sort of way. And if it's not, there's a very specific reason why it's not magnetic. So here's an example.
You might not think of water as being magnetic, but it is. And so are graphite, aluminum, and glass. Aluminum is a good example of a paramagnet. And so is oxygen, which is attracted to magnets. Here, I have a few milliliters of liquid oxygen, which sticks to the magnet. I'll explain why later. Gadolinium oxide and cupric sulfate are good examples of paramagnetic substances. Cupric sulfate is a salt that can be picked up by a magnet.
Here is a picture of an electron. There's a picture taken about a decade ago. They tell us that this is a light beam or electron riding a light beam. Can you see a particle anywhere in this picture? No, there's no particle. They're resonant waves, and yet they tell us it's an electron. Can you see how we get brainwashed? So this is what Nikola Tesla has to say about the electron from an interview in 1928. On the whole subject of matter, in fact, Dr. Tesla holds the view that are startlingly original. He disagrees with the concept of atomic theory of matter and does not believe in the existence of an electron as pictured by science. This is a shock to the system because we all think electrons are low, electrons are real.
You curious to see how I got paid $2,000?
This is a shock to the system because we all think electrons are low, electrons are real. And you start seeing an agenda being developed here, an agenda being developed by mainstream universities, the mainstream scientific fraternity, under the guidance of those that are trying to lie to us and make us believe things that are not so. This is what Einstein has to say about electrons. In the theoretical treatment of these electrons, we are faced with the difficulty that electrodynamic theory itself is unable to give an account of their nature. For since electrical masses constituting the electron would necessarily be scattered under the influence of their mutual repulsion unless there are forces of another kind operating between them, the nature of which has hitherto remained obscure to us. So
You think that
Time giving blood. Yes. They pay cash, and there's no limit to how many times you give. They even buy it in the jar.
Jared Nomack, we're ready for you. In the past 12 months, have you gotten a tattoo or undergone any ear, skin, or body piercing?
No.
Where did you get that scar on your chin?
Childhood accident.
You say you don't have any immediate next of kin, is that right?
Not that I'm in contact with.
Nobody to call in case of an emergency?
No one.
No family?
I told you no. And you telling me I can't be a donor?
It depends. We came up with some unusual results in your blood test.
What? How unusual.
Let me explain. Your blood has a very rare phenotype, one we haven't encountered before.
What are you talking about? Who are you? No.
Sit down, please.
What is this?
This is a good news, bad news scenario, Jared. Good news for us. Bad news for you.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change.
Our bodies will be so high-tech we won't be able to really distinguish between what's natural and what's artificial.
Inside our own heads is the most complex arrangement of matter in the known universe.
You might ask yourself, can we get to be superhumans?
The remote that can control the human brain from a distance. South Korean scientists have announced an advancement in nanomagnetogenetic technology. This new method allows the control of biological processes through magnetic fields at the nanoscale. The innovative technique promises to revolutionize targeted drug delivery, reducing side effects and enhancing therapeutic efficacy by directing drugs precisely to affected areas. This technology can enhance biosensors and bioelectronics. This technology represents a paradigm shift in controlling biological systems at the molecular level. Are you ready to be switched on like a TV?
What's to stop anybody from hacking your brain completely?
Even the birds don't like the 5G. They're pulling it apart.
Attack of the birds. That 5G tower don't want no smoke. Here's food for thought. Humans are food for 5G harvesting. By definition, 5G harvests power from its surrounding environment. Humans produce kinetic energy, and as you see on the peer-reviewed 5G menu below, that little human is dessert.
God, they're going for it, aren't they? They're like, fuck the 5G.
The US government has been working on mind control for both military and recreational purposes. DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, have been working on projects to merge consciousness with technology, artificial intelligence. Brain-to-brain telepathy is no longer a thing of sci-fi movies. They've also linked our brains to the internet and to weaponry. DARPA aims to weaponize the human brain. The mission is to make human beings something other than what we are, with powers beyond the ones we're born with. Sounds like transhumanism to me. I hope linking consciousness with technology will help control drone swarms, fighter jets, and robot soldiers halfway across the world. The DARPA initiative is one that may interest or concern you. Every movie with human cyborgs never turns out to be a good one. Let me know what you think about merging man with technology.
It might be possible to upload your brain to a computer in near future, and that you live. What if I told you it might be possible to upload your brain to a computer in near future, and that you live on even after your physical body has passed away? This may sound like science fiction, but it's actually a real area of research that scientists and technologists are working on. The idea is that, by scanning and mapping the brain in incredible detail, we could potentially create a digital version of a person's consciousness. This brain-computer interface would allow that person to continue existing, in a sense, even after their body has died. Of course, there are many ethical and philosophical questions that come along with this kind of technology, and it's still very much in the early stages of development. But the possibility of truly achieving digital immortality is a tantalizing one, and that could have an impact on the way we think about death and the afterlife.
Proves to be the best relayer of your frequency patterns. I believe on the soul level we exist as vibration, and coming into the physical, one way we demonstrate our vibratory level is through our voice. So by capturing the voice and transferring it into a language that we can now compare to atomic and molecular weights of the minerals and vitamins and substances that you're made of, to the planets as they transited as you were born, we then can get a very complete picture of your unique frequency pattern and what's happened to it. Everything that's happened to you is located in a waveform that can be measured and identified. Currently, we're only measuring 20 to 25,000 items in your voice print. There are much more, but it's enough to give us a very good picture of what's happened to your body. We're able to find that frequency. And because the program has converted that frequency in the voice, which would be in about the 400 hertz range, it's converted it to substances that may have been in the 4,000 hertz range down to the range of your brainwave levels. So that is where we bring all of our information to, what your body's communicating in, which are the brainwave levels. Interesting studies by Pelgrim done at Yale have demonstrated that your brain communicates to your body in Fourier transform mathematical equations, which is exactly what we use to translate your voice into a mathematical waveform we can measure, which corresponds, coincidentally, to atomic and molecular structure and elements existing in our universe.
With this sound and such, we're actually talking frequency. And what we're working with isn't just sound and auditory, but it's that too. It isn't just the magnetics and such, but it's that too. It isn't like the vibration and such, but we kind of combine everything in the sound therapy. One of the aspects of the program is a nutritional database that's unlike anything I've seen around the world. Well, I just looked up vitamin K1. We have over 22,000 different vitamins and drugs that are here in the database. Having this database, you can actually have something going on with you as maybe seen in the voice. Bring up the database and find out information about that. In addition, we have listed on this side here all of the connections or all of the conditions that are related to that vitamin. In this case, vitamin K1 works with bleeding in blood and bone spurs, and the list goes on. And I think you can all see the X's right here that associate to the one that's highlighted over here. Next, what we've done is we've also pulled up a list of calcium database it has, is we can have all the vitamin K1 that you could need in your bloodstream. But if you don't have calcium going on, you actually won't have the vitamin K1 being active. It just can't be used without that. This box up here kind of talks in detail of why that's necessary, and it's all of this information is at your fingertips with the computer program, which we have.
They're getting all that from your voice. Wow.
I came across a document that I was never meant to see. I have been unable to view the world in the same way again. I must keep my background vague and the position I had secret, as it would reveal my identity too easily, and I need to think of my family. At 67 years of age, I have recently been diagnosed with incurable lung cancer, and I was content to take this knowledge to the grave. The recently bleak world events have changed my mind. Throughout my 30-year military career, I rose through the ranks and was eventually respected by both the forces and the government. After retiring, I was offered a role working with senior government officials, where I was trusted due to my integrity and experience. One of my main duties was to transfer classified documents from one party to another, always accompanied by another equally respected person due to protocol. I never really paid attention to the contents of what I was delivering, nor did I ever wonder what was written in between the hundreds of leather-bound articles. The next sequence of events seemed too coincidental to be a coincidence, but they happened nonetheless. I was instructed to deliver a single classified binder folder to the head of a department on the 3rd floor, and I was accompanied by a colleague named Charlie. Just as we were about to step into the elevator, a member of staff collapsed in front of us, and we helped them up and called for assistance. Moments later, as we stepped into the elevator, a man shouted over to us that Charlie had dropped his pass. Charlie went back to retrieve it, and I accidentally dropped the documents as my phone rang. I bent down to pick up the scattered pages as the elevator doors closed. I was stuck in between the 2nd and 3rd floor when the power cut out and the emergency lights came on. I continued to pick up the loose papers. Suddenly, the header of one of the pages caught my eye, and it read Project Camouflage. I couldn't help but glance over the contents, and what I read changed everything for me. The article stated that the current world population was only 1 billion people, while the rest were made up of synthetic beings whose sole purpose was to gather information. This information would be uploaded to a cloud as they slept. It went into great detail on how these beings were part of an advanced AI collective, which had been in development by top scientists since at least the 1970s with the help of others. The primary objective was to limit our impact to the planet and beyond. They were programmed to believe they were human. Their memories of being born, giving birth, and any other key life elements were constantly updated. This intertwined with the natural population like a framework for seamless integration. The article ended with a statement requesting a full urgent investigation into a few 100,000 units experiencing anomalies. These seemed to be centralized and was spreading frantically through the AI network without explanation. I couldn't read anymore. I felt empty as I realized that everything around me had been manipulated in such a convoluted way. That the truth was hidden from me and the whole population. Control seemed to be the only reason in my eyes for such a disproportionate number of synthetic beings compared to natural-born humans. I could tell I was starting to have an existential crisis. I began questioning the world around me. I even doubted my whole life and many experiences, especially with the type of work that I was in. I gathered and transferred information. I took a moment to compose myself and reordered the papers into the binder. A few minutes later, the main power came back on, and the elevator doors opened as I reached the 3rd floor. My colleague was waiting for me, and we delivered the documents to the relevant party without saying a word. I left my position not long after this incident, unable to continue being connected to such a lie. I preferred to live in the reality that I had always known rather than face the truth. It has been 16 years since then, and I have been haunted by this terrifying knowledge every single day. I partly blame my experience for my marriage breakdown and consequent alcoholism. I have also never been able to share this information with anyone in person, as I knew that I would either be silenced or ridiculed. I can't help feeling that the state of the world at the moment is feeling the consequence of the few anomalies in that terrible document. As my days on this earth come to an end, I can finally share this burden with you all, even if it will inevitably be lost amongst the many other theories and posts that these types of statements normally are. I can only hope that in the future somebody else can share more details on what I witnessed on that stamped piece of paper. Writing this all back now has got me thinking. I never really did understand who the others that they referred to helping them in the article really were. Please take my words seriously. Remember, there is always truth buried between lies.
Those are all the videos I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed them. It's pretty cool. I mean, seeing that we're really nothing more than batteries. We're light beings, energy beings. The problem with that is the elites of the world, the demons, the devils, are all sucking our energy dry. They're feeding on it. They're using it to feed the matrix. All this technology is demonic. It's not for you or me. It's not to help us. It's to help the elites. It's to help Satan. Because God is all knowing, all seeing, all powerful. He created this earth. He created you and me. The devil's created nothing but chaos. He's created lies. The globe, that's his biggest lie. That's his creation because he can't create anything for real. So I hope you liked him, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.